Namba safi kabisa, shukrani sana mpenzi mtazamaji kwa kuzidi kuwa nasi hapa ndani ya Al-Huda TV, mwongozo kwa umma. Ikiwa hivi sasa tunaingia kwenye kitengo cha hamasisho na wasia kwa vijana. Tumekuwa na leo magazetini, tumeweza kumzungumza na habari za siasa zinavyoendelea, jinsi hali gani ya usalama nchini, amani ya humu nchini, na hivi sasa tukiingia kwenye hamasisho tutakuwa naye aliyekuwa mbunge na vile vile sasa ni commissioner katika tume ya uwiano na utangamano, nazungumzia NCIC. Tutaweza kumjua zaidi kwa undani, tuweze kujua swa majukumu yao kama tume ile ni gani swa, na anaona wapi siasa za hivi sasa na amani zikoje. Tutakuwa tunazungumza zaidi nikiwa naye Gwiji Nur Said Bakayoko.
Wajua unapotaja NCIC mimi humuona mzee Francis Ole Kaparo, sababu nafikiri ndio alikuwa ni mwenyekiti wa kwanza wa tume hii ya uwiano na utangamano. Lakini sasa hivi nafikiri ni Reverend Samuel Kobia kama sijakosea, ndio mwenyekiti wa tume hii. Na mara nyingi tunapowapata makamishna ambao wanasimamia na kuzungumzia kwa sauti masuala ya amani, hasa wakati wa uchaguzi, tunafurahia sana. Ni hamasisho tosha sana. Sana.
Kidogo ni wa,
lakini ndio hivyo.
Tumkaribishe kwanza. Msalimie kwanza mtazamaji alafu tusahihishe.
Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, watazamaji wa
Al-Huda
TV wa Al-Huda. Ningekusahihisha kwanza, mwenyekiti wa kwanza wa tume hili alikuwa Kibunjia. Mzalendo Kibunjia.
Kweli.
Wa pili ndio Ole Kaparo.
Kweli mzalendo. Yupo mzalendo bado? Mzalendo
yuko lakini hayuko kwa tume.
Okay, nafikiri.
Kwa hivyo
ili nipitikia kidogo.
Sio mzee, ni kijana sasa. Nilipata Ole Kaparo kumpata mzalendo.
Umekubali kwamba
labda Ole Kaparo alikuwa ana sauti
kubwa
kuliko wengine
mzalendo. Lakini yote 9-10 bado ni NCIC.
Kumbuka kwamba Ole Kaparo alikuwa speaker wa bunge.
Miaka
mambo yake ya order na maneno yake na nguvu zake za kuamrisha.
Nafikiri mimi nikiinukia honorable, nimemjua speaker ni Ole Kaparo. Sijui aliyekuwa mbele yake, sijui nani.
Na nyuma yake ujui.
Na nyuma yake ni Marende nafikiri.
Marende.
Sasa ni Muturi JB. Na wale madipi wale ndakuwa rais alitangaza jana. Wale madipi ndio kabisa sasa hata tuwajui. Najua tu Farah mahali basi.
Karibu sana Abdulaziz Farah.
David wa sasa hivi anaitwa Moses Cheboy.
Wapi?
Kutoka Kurusoi.
Tunafurahi sana Abdulaziz Farah kuweza kuchukua wakati wako na kuweza kuwa nasi siku ya leo. Ni faraja kwetu hapa ndani ya TV Al-Huda. Vile vile mtazamaji, nitakupatia fursa ya kuweza kuuliza maswali yako kuhusiana na amani na uwiano na utengamano katika taifa la Kenya. Lakini kwanza Abdulaziz Farah, kabla tuweze kuingia ndani, ningependa mtazamaji kufahamu kabisa, nipate tu historia yako fupi. Kuzaliwa ni wapi? Yaani nipatie historia mpaka kufika kuwa commissioner, safari yako ya ubunge na kila kitu.
Shukran. Mimi nimezaliwa county ya Mandera na nimesomea shule ya msingi Mandera. Lakini kwa bahati nzuri na kufanya vizuri kwa mtihani ya shule ya msingi, nilijikuta katika shule fahari ya Moi High School Kabarak.
Mashallah.
Ndipo nikamaliza nikaelekea Kenyatta University, na baada ya hayo nikakataa kufanya kazi ya serikali au ya kampuni zingine zote, nikafanya biashara. Kwa hivyo mimi msingi langu ni ya biashara. Lakini baada ya hiyo nikajiunga na siasa tena. Kwa hivyo nimehudumia constituency ya Mandera East 2013-2017. Na sijaanguka kwa uchaguzi wa 2017. Nilisalimu amri kwa ile mpango ya wazee. Negotiated democracy. Walipozungusha viti kwa maclans. Nikaona clan yangu wamepewa deputy governor. Sasa nikasema basi mimi sitaki hiyo,
ukatoka mwenyewe.
Nikatoka. Kwa hivyo sikuwa kwa ballot.
2017 huko kwa ballot.
Sikuwa kwa ballot. Kwa maajabu ya Mwenyezi Mungu nilimfanyia campaign aliyokuwa kiti sahihi.
Huyo ni Roba.
Hapana, mbunge. Yule anahudumia sahihi, nilimfanyia campaign.
Mashallah.
Kwa hivyo nilisalimu amri haraka sana ili siku za usoni iwe rahisi kwangu. Ndio wazee nisikuwe friction na hawa. Kwa hivyo mimi ni huyo. Alafu baada ya uchaguzi wa 2017 nilifanyia campaign kubwa pia Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Labda nimepewa zawadi ya kazi hii. Ndio sasa mimi ni commissioner wa tume hili. Naam.
Mashallah. Safari imenifurahisha hiyo safari. Anasema hakuanguka kura.
Hakuanguka, ni mwenye tu aliamua
naamini singeanguka.
Lakini Abdulaziz, hapo katika negotiated democracy, hata tulipokuwa tunaanza mazungumzo yetu asubuhi tuliizungumzia sana. Vijana wengi, hata jana nilipoangalia news, walipoulizwa maoni yao kuhusu negotiated democracy, majority walikuwa wanaipinga. Sijui wewe unaichukuliaje negotiated democracy hasa North Eastern?
Ina faida zake na hasara zake.
Lakini gani zinazidi zingine? Which one outweighs the other?
Pia inategemea vile mnavyoangalia. But kwa mimi rai yangu naona kama hajatumiwa vibaya ni mzuri. Mzuri ndio zaidi. Kwa sababu wazee wakiwa fair na wasiwe na ufisadi inakuwa vizuri. Kwa sababu viti zote ambazo zinawekwa kwa meza. Na ile ukoo zote ambazo ziko pia wanaletwa. Kwa hivyo at the end of the day everybody walks out with something.
Kwa hivyo
wanagawa
viti kwa mfano saizi ni 6, sio? Kuna urais hapo haiko, tutoe hiyo. Kuna ugavana, kuna useneta, women rep, na kuna wabunge na wabunge. Mandera ni viti ngapi? Viti 6 Mandera. Kwa hivyo ni tuseme 11.
Na wakilishi wodi uhesabu?
Wakilishi wodi ni mahesabu. Ni ngapi? Pia ni wengi, sio?
Ni wengi, ni almost 40 hivi.
Na clans ni ngapi Mandera?
Sasa clans ni nyingi, but at the end of the day najua kuna ile chini lakini
kuna ile
kwa hivyo kila mtu atapewa kitu. Na ndio walifanya 2013. Although wali lock out some other clans. Lakini wale ambao wamekuwa kwa coalition moja wamegawana vizuri.
Unaona sasa hizi ni sababu tulikuwa tujui.
Sasa tuseme tuchukue mfano wa ile dominant clan ile Gare ya Mandera. Clan moja wameshukua governor, mwingine ameshukua senator, mwingine ameshukua women rep, na wengine wakachukua mbunge wa Mandera South, wengine wamechukua mbunge wa Mandera West, na mwingine mbunge wa Banisa. Na MCAs wakagawana. Pia wakaahidiana kwamba serikali ya county ikikuwa vya ile wafanyakazi pia watagawana. Mawaziri, ma chief officers, na public service board, committee, yote hizo, speaker, deputy speaker, majority leader, hizo vitu zote watagawana.
Kwa hivyo tuseme haijawahi kuleta mvurugano ama mvutano baina ya wakazi wa Mandera ama North Eastern hata.
Sasa ubaya wake Kenya siku hizi kuna hii tabia ya coalition building. So at the end of the day kuna clans wataungana kufanya coalition. In the process wata lock out wengine. So sasa hapo ndio itakuwa na vurugu. Wale ambao wamekuwa locked out watalete shida. Kwa hivyo at the end of the day negotiated democracy reduces friction between the clans. Because they share the positions on the table na kila mtu walks away with something.
Lakini commissioner pia hapo katika maybe disadvantage.
Lakini disadvantage yake sana ni ile ku compromise demokrasia.
Ndio sasa.
Naam.
Demokrasia haswa kwa njia ya kupoteza viongozi ambao wangefaa.
Naam.
In the process wanalete viongozi ambao ni handpicked.
Yeah.
We can't question
ambao hawafai. Kwa sasa hivi ni bahati mbaya kwamba mheshimiwa Bill Okero is out of politics.
Yeah, alikuwa mbunge wa Mandera, senator
wa Mandera.
Yeah, sijamwona muda mrefu sana.
Ni kwa sababu ya hiyo mpango.
And we needed Bill Okero so much.
So
because he's a smart mind.
In process you lose quality leadership. Because kile kinaangaliwa si quality ya kiongozi, lakini ni clan gani amepata ama hajapata.
Okay.
So that is one. And second, niliwaambia kwamba kuna ile ku lock out wengine. Unaona? And then in a kind of germinate ukabila. Ile harakati ya kusema hii ni yetu, hii ni yetu, hii ni yetu, hii ni wetu, hii ni yetu, unajua. Kwa hivyo at the end of the day pia
ina fuel
ile tribalism. Because kama viongozi wangechaguliwa kidemokrasia, wewe unachaguliwa na kila mtu, na mnaenda kumhudumia kila mtu. Lakini kama umeletewa na clan yako, you are only answerable to the clan.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, unaona. Kwa hivyo pia ina fuel ukabila.
Naam.
So kuna disadvantage yake na advantage yake. Yeah.
Kweli, lakini sasa tukibaki hapo kabla tutoke kwenye negotiated democracy, mbona wengine wanapewa only one term, others wanapewa ruhusa kwenda for 2 terms? What exactly do they use hapa? Kwa sababu wewe umepiga 1 term, yeah? 2013-2017. The governor right now amekwenda 2 terms, yeah? Amemaliza 10 years. What criteria are they using to make sure huyu atarudi, huyu mwingine 5 imetosha?
Sana hawaangaliangi performance. Ile kitu naangalia tu ni ile interest ya clan. Na Governor Roba alitolewa, lakini aliasi amri ya wazee. Ndio because he was resourced. Roba alikuwa governor, akawa resource ya county, na wazee wakamtoa. Wakamendorse ule juzi alijiuzulu kutoka kwa CES, anaitwa Hassanur Hassan, former PC wa Rift Valley. Ndio alikuwa anointed. Lakini Roba aliasi amri ya wazee.
Akamshinda.
Sasa mtu ako kwa resource ya county mzima,
ni ngumu kutolea.
Na akashikana na serikali juu.
Alishinda hivyo. Now what happens now? Kwa sababu sasa hivi
sasa ile imefanya ile mpango yote ya hiyo negotiated democracy ya Mandera imesambaratika.
Kwa sababu right now pia kuna mtu wake anasimamisha.
Imesambaratika kabisa. Jana endorsement yake.
Naam. Na juzi pia na Adam Mohamed pia amejitangaza kwenda kusimama.
Kwa hivyo sasa tuko na 5 candidates governor.
What? Kwa hivyo tuseme kwa sasa negotiated democracy
Mandera imesambaratika. Kusha. Na kurudi kule itachukua muda.
Sasa on your own opinion, is it a good thing or it's a bad thing?
If everybody is brought on board, it's a good thing. It saves resources, it reduces friction, it reduces animosity. Na ile wengine, kuna example ya Mandera ya 2013. Kuna subclan ambao hawajawahi kufikiria kupata mbunge, walipata mbunge.
That's good.
Hawajawahi na hawatafikiria tena.
That's good.
Lakini wakapata.
Ndio. Kwa hivyo ni mzuri ikitumika vizuri. Na ufisadi ondolewe.
Naam, I think hapo umezungumza point nzuri kwa wakiwa fair na ufisadi uondolewe, basi kutakuwa na maendeleo.
Uongozi wa Mandera
Sasa tuchukue mfano Mombasa.
Naam.
Kuna community ngapi Mombasa? Kuna Waswahili, Waarabu, Mijikenda, Wakamba, Wasomali na nini, si ndio? Wakiketi kwa meza moja, waseme governor tupatie nani? Kiliama tuseme. Senator tupatie mtu fulani. Na deputy governor
tupatie
mtu fulani. Na woman MP mtu fulani. MP wa Changamwe mtu fulani. Kisauni mtu fulani.
Likoni
mtu fulani. Sasa si kila mtu tafurahi?
Naam, kweli.
Na MCS pia hivyo. All the communities in Mombasa will walk away with something at the end of the day from that meeting. Na watacheka wenyewe, kila mtu atafurahi. So if it is used well, it is very good.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Ali ana complain sana tangu niingie hapa studio asubuhi. Anasema inakuwaje uongozi wa Mandera unakuja kufanya mikutano yao Nairobi badala ya kufanyia kule Mandera.
I can't seem to get the right picture of it, kwa sababu if sisi uongozi wetu it's all about the Mandera people, why we bring major meetings in Nairobi and then we are seeing discourse here and there?
There are several factors. Moja ni kwamba wanaoshawishi wako Nairobi.
Wanaoshawishi wako Nairobi. Wanaoshawishiwa wako Mandera.
Na ni wengi wako Nairobi. Wafanyabiashara, opinion leaders. Wale wanafanya kwa mashirika mbalimbali ama kwa serikali.
Viongozi wa kidini pia.
Viongozi wa kidini wako hapa.
Umeona kina Abdulaziz Abdi
wako hapa wote.
Bilokero mwenyewe yuko
na hata viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa wako ni wachache, wanaishi huko na watoto yao.
Wengi
wanaishi huko.
Kwa nini?
Ni desturi yao tu ile. Huko unajua ni huwezi kaa sana, ni mbali. Sio kama Mombasa. Rafiki zangu walikuwa wana attend ile bunge ya mkutano ya bunge Thursday afternoon. Tukimaliza ndio wanaingia ndege wanaenda Mombasa
for the weekend.
Yes. Na Tuesday morning wana fly tena ndio wa attend ile ya jioni.
Na wewe wa Mandera
hatuna hiyo luxury. So wanao shawishi wako Nairobi. Na hivi sasa hatuwezi fanya mkutano kubwa namna hiyo Mandera. Because itabidi uhamishe hao watu wote wakae. Gharama ya kuhamisha pia ni waende Mandera.
Security na
pia kuna security problem ya Al-Shabaab na hatuwezi fanya mkutano kubwa na hiyo bila kuwa na security tight. Kwa hivyo ni gharama mingi na not convenient. So the number of people that you found yesterday in Bomas with Roba, you can't have them in Mandera. Mandera sasa ni wale watu wa kawaida, voters ndio watakuja. Na hawa ni kuambiwa tu na kuenda. Si ndio? Ni ile yatononoka tu. Wale wanaambiwa wanaenda. Lakini hawa ni wale wanatoa voice wenyewe. Wao wenyewe ndio wanatoa amri. Ikuwe hivi. Kwa hivyo the stakeholders are here. Although even sometimes hata machama zingine si zao wanafanya hivi. Muturi alifanya jana hapa. Same thing.
Ngilu.
Almost the same thing. So it's not very weird.
So
sishangae sana.
Sasa breaking the chain. Influencers are here, voters are there, but with 10 years, I think 9 years of devolution, do you think that these counties are northeastern wamefaidika kivyovyote with distribution of uongozi and everything, devolution and all? Imesaidia kweli?
Yes, no. Yes, because Mandera County gets almost 10 billion shillings annually.
10 billion shillings
Yes.
annually.
Yes. Almost half of that goes for recurrent expenses.
Half of it.
Almost half. And that is salaries, rent, and those things, bills and those things. So that means that money goes to wananchi in Mandera. Whether it's a salary or
Rent
or fuel or maintenance or whatever, it goes to the people of Mandera. So hiyo ni faida, hatujawahi pata pesa kama hizo tangu tupate uhuru. Kwa hivyo ni faida kubwa sana. Secondly, the other half ya development. Ufisadi uko sana tena.
Sana.
We have devolved corruption. Now, but hatuwezi kosa some trickle down. Kama kuna shida ya maji, kuna ile pesa iko ready ya dharura kutoka county, afya namna hiyo, barabara namna hiyo. Najua zamani ulikuwa unaongojea kutoka juu na ianguke kwa sababu tuseme kuna barabara imekatika mahali na haipitiki. Inataka kasi ya dharura. Kutoka juu itachukua budget ya mwaka, sijui ile ingine ya supplementary, sijui nini na nini na nini. MP azunguke ofisi baada ya ofisi, ndio itakuja when watu wamechoka. Hivi sasa governor ana move quickly. He will rekebisha that place na life continues. Of course kuna vitu vingi vimefanyika. Tuseme county yangu ya Mandera. Kuna maram roads nyingi imefanyika, kuna boreholes nyingi imefanyika, kuna water pumps nyingi imefanyika, kuna colleges na shule zimejengwa, hospitali zimejengwa. Kuna kazi nyingi imefanyika katika constituency yangu ambayo ni headquarter ya county. Kuna majengo nyingi, county headquarter, county assembly, ni governor's house. Ukiona unasema hapa ni kuzuri,
ni Dubai.
There's a whole change over of the town. Kuna mabadiliko kubwa imefanyika. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi sema kwamba devolution haijafanya. Imefanya na itaendelea kufanya. Hata ukileta ule mtu most corrupt, bado kuna kitu inafanyika. Sasa hawezi kula yote.
I think sasa tuingie
kwenye NCIC. Kwanza Sheikh, tueleze tu kidogo kuhusiana na NCIC na historia yake kabla tuingie na kazi yake, sio?
Naam. Sababu labda kuna mtu ndio amesikia kwa mara ya kwanza, ajui kabisa shughuli yake kabisa ni gani.
Kwa bahati mbaya nchi hii we went to our lowest in 2007. 2008. The post-election violence. And I think it is only Allah that has saved the country.
Kabisa.
Lakini wanasiasa na Wakenya hawajapanga kuweka nchi yao vizuri. Lakini ni Mwenyezi Mungu alituokoa. When that happened and the international community also came to rescue us. So you can remember the Kofi Annan and the eminent persons from Africa.
Kapa, Machel.
Huyu rais wa juzi wa Tanzania Kikwete, walikuja. Kwa hivyo wakaongelesha hawa jamaa, Raila na Kibaki. And in the process umeagree vitu kadhaa. Kulikuwa na agenda moja, agenda number 1,
agenda number 1, 2, 3, 4,
agenda number 2, agenda number 3, agenda number 4. Agenda number 1 being cessation of hostilities. Simamisha kwanza hii damu ndio tuongee. Number 2 ilikuwa humanitarian assistance. Kwa wale ambao wameathirika
wasaidike kwanza.
Number 3 sijui ilikuwa whatever, lakini number 4 ni hii kitu inaitwa agenda 4 program.
Power sharing.
Agenda 4 power sharing na hizo ingine ni kando, lakini agenda 4 ilikuwa ina deal na ni kitu gani imetulete hapa. What brought us to 2007 problem. That reflection imelete ya kwamba number 1 we had land issues. Why we busted, why we bust to fight. There's something that we have been having.
It was boiling.
It was boiling. Something, accumulatively there were problems that were in the country. They were not addressed since independence. So cumulatively hizo vitu ndio zilichoma nchi. Land issues. So I recommend tuweke kitu tunaitwa land commission. It deal na hiyo problem. We had electoral problems. Kuiba. Uchaguzi. Mololongo sijui nini. Ile mtu unahesabu sijui mara 10 mtu moja. Mololongo.
1 2 3
yes 5 6 7 8 9 10 and then you go to the next one. Kuibana uchaguzi. So wakaweka ile IEBC na kwanza ile interim boundaries
IEC.
Yes. Kudeal na hiyo shida. Alafu kuna ile ya kudeal na constitution mbaya. We had a bad constitution. So wakasema pia nchi lazima ipate constitution. Ndio sasa baadaye tukaweka ile committee of experts nini kulete midwife constitution. The police yetu pia kulikuwa problem.
It was a force.
So then the National Police Service, unaona. Then the courts, the Judicial Service Commission, then kuna injustices tumefanyana tangu independence. Wewe umenifanyia injustices, mimi nimekufanyia injustice.
Truth,
not solved.
Justice and Reconciliation.
Truth, Justice and Reconciliation, TJRC, where I worked as a civic education officer. Was to deal with historical injustices so that we can bring to a closure our problems. So that kama ni watu ambao wameuawa Wagala massacre, what can we do about it? So that they can forget about it. At least waseme nimeridhika. So kama ni massacre ingine huko Pokot hivyo. Kama kuna wale extrajudicial killings nini, marginalization, sisi wengine wana huko tumetengwa sana.
Huko juu
tumetengwa sana. Well, all those things were to be dealt with TJRC and then the report implemented by government. Now wakagundua pia ya kwamba in the country Kenyans we hate one another. Tuko divided sana. Tunaambiana sisi na hawa. We are not Kenyans. Lakini kila mtu kuna ile boma yake. We're in silos.
41 against 1, those things.
Yeah, huyu ni Mgiriama, huyu ni Msomali, huyu ni nani, huyu ni Mkukuyu. Ukiona studio leo hapa watu wanahesabu hawa ni nani? Hawa ni kabila moja.
Hawa wanakaa pamoja ni watu wa moja.
Unaona? Unaenda idara fulani ya serikali unaona
language
hapa wengi sana.
Hapa unaona? So watu wamechukiana. So NCIC imebuniwa ili they bring the country together. They pull the country together. Wahamasishe wananchi kwamba wao ni watu moja, nchi moja ambayo iko na destiny moja. In fact, that is our slogan. One nation, one people, one destiny. And at the same time to guard against anything ambayo inaweza kuvuruga hiyo Kenya moja hiyo. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio ile kuzaliwa kwa NCIC. So the act that governs NCIC is called NCI Act 2008. So NCIC was born out of conflict. And when conflict ends in Kenya is when our life will end.
NCIC.
Yes.
Will it end?
I don't know. It's our prayer that conflict ends in Kenya so that NCIC can close shop. Now, the other thing that I want to shed light on is that Kenyans know NCIC for hate speech.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Yes.
To mayor, hate speech.
Hate speech. Ukiongea mbaya NCIC itakushika wewe.
But I want to tell Kenyans that hate speech is only one clause in our act. If you read the act, is section 13 of the act. But we have a whole lineup of functions and responsibilities that were given to us that Kenyans don't know. So when Kenyans say huyu mwanasiasa aliongea vibaya, kwa nini NCIC is not jailing them or jailing him? They think we are only there seated watching hate speech. We are not. The functions of NCIC ukisoma inapita 20, over 20. So we're supposed to deal with peace building in the communities where there's conflict. We are involved in North Rift right now. We are involved in the border between Kakamega and Kericho and Kisumu, Bomet, Kisii, Migori and Kuria and Masai, you know. We are involved in the conflict in Mandera. We are involved in the conflict in Marsabit, which is hard not to crack, very difficult. We are involved in the conflict in Samburu, the Baragoi area, that is the Valley of Death. Yes, Kapedo area, you know, Tiati. Right now we are having a headache between Pokot and Marakwet. There's problem between Pokot and Turkana. There is a problem in Narok. You remember the Mao and all those issues. We are having problems between Tharaka-Nithi and Meru on boundary issues, and so many of them. You know, we are having problems of illegal groupings. In Mombasa, coast. We're having problems in Lamu. You know, all these are our headache. All this is our headache as a commission. At the same time, we were supposed to look at marginalization in this country, so that it doesn't happen again, so that we go back to 2007. So it is this commission to watch against marginalization. And that's why we audit all the organizations, government organizations in this country, including county governments, every year, to see how their employment is, whether they break the law or they abide by the law.
Is it the 2/3 or?
30% must be non-dominant communities.
All right.
So if you are in Isiolo, for example, which is the dominant community, X, they are allowed only 70%.
Okay.
Maximum. But they can go down. Okay?
But if they go beyond 70, again,
they have broken the law. So we do what is called ethnic audit to universities, to parastatals, to everything.
Even to private institutions or just government?
Unless they complain. We don't go to private. But unless they complain, written to us, then we investigate and want the organization to shape up.
Okay.
Yes. So we also advise government on policies. Kenyans will be surprised to hear that the yellow buses of schools was an advice from NCIC.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought it was Michuki's thinking.
No, it was an advice, policy advice from NCIC, so that school buses are not misused.
Okay, true.
You know? So, like when we had the COVID outbreak, we issued several policies to the government. So we do a lot of research into issues pertaining to tranquility in this country. So that at one given time, NCIC must tell government what the issues are in 47 counties. What is the problem that could be, misused to trigger violence in Mombasa? NCIC must give that policy and that preparation and that research in good time.
All right.
That is the work of NCIC.
That is the whole plate.
Yes. Again, NCIC is supposed to educate Kenyans on what its mandate is and how they should live together as brethren and not to live together as enemies. So that's civic education. And the list goes on. So our mandate is so huge.
So huge. But we dwell so much on hate speech.
Hate speech.
And,
because it attaches on politicians. Kenyans are focused on politics 24/7. Which is true.
That's very true. We eat politics.
We eat politics for breakfast, for lunch, and for supper.
But it is
very
the politicians
unfortunate
that have put that in us.
Yes, until we define leadership to mean politicians. I mean, the manager of this station is a leader.
Yeah.
But in the mind of Kenyans, he is not. The leader is a politician.
Yeah,
they begin from the MCA here in South B as being the leader number one, and then it goes up to the president, which is wrong. So our attention is given to politics.
But all that said, Abdulaziz, as much as, yes, our attention is given to politics, but we know it's the politicians that fuel all these things that you have said. When they are given a platform to speak, they speak like the other day we were talking about Stanley Livondo in Thika. If you go to social media, you find a lot of hate being spewed by the youth and the politicians and several other people. Don't you think that, especially during this electioneering period, we should dwell so much on these politicians rather than the common mwananchi, whom you guys from NCIC can sit them down and tell them, even though inafaa kuwa hivi haifai kuwa na wakawasikiza?
Generally speaking, these countries undoing is politicians.
Exactly.
Nothing less, nothing more. It's politicians. Whether it is economics, whether it is social cohesion and peaceful coexistence, whether it is marginalization and injustices, I mean, all the wrongs in this country is done by politicians, to be very sincere. And me being one of them, I cannot absolve myself from the blame. But it happened. Kenyans are very resilient, peace-loving. They like or love one another. They live together. They help one another. We are our brother's keeper.
Yeah.
Until when a politician arrives, is when we become enemies.
That is when you realize you are a Somali.
Yes.
I am from somewhere
Yes.
else.
That's when even people of Mandera will now start calling themselves clans. You will hear this is Garre, this is Murale, this is the Gudia, this is what?
Because of the politician.
When a politician arrives. Before that, we share our small porridge, a cup of tea.
You knock the door to ask for salt.
Yes, we are brothers. My friends, good friends. But when a politician comes,
So you know how true
we start pointing fingers at each other. It's very unfortunate, and we have to deal with that as a commission as much as we have been empowered by the law. Our headache as now is delivering a peaceful election 2022. That's our biggest headache. With all the conflicts around, with all the conflict in Marsabit, in Turkana, in all the places in this country, we have purpose to deliver a peaceful election. Now, this work can be made difficult by politicians and not anybody else. And so we know what the politician can do. Like the statement you talked about in Thika is one of the worst that somebody can make.
True.
Exactly.
Yes. It is a very, very reckless statement that can burn this country.
Yeah. Tough like that.
If 41 against 1 could burn the country, what about that one? It's worse. So we have our ears open, our eyes open, 24/7 to deal with such reckless statements that can bring this country down.
Animosity.
Now then we came up with what is called the roadmap to 2022 elections, what we call elections bila noma. So we call it uchaguzi bila noma roadmap, which we launched last year. In that roadmap, we have arrangements or strategies to follow so that we don't have resurgence of political animosity and post-election violence. We are dealing with all crooks or all these politicians who are selfish. But you see, at the end of the day, Kenyans want to see us jailing people.
Yes,
exactly. In fact, that was my next question.
I was also going to there because
Yes.
they are saying whatever they are saying, which we are saying it's hate speech. We are seeing them being told to go to NCIC, do 1, 2, 3, and then we see them outside again. They do the same thing.
Yes.
And people are like, what is happening? Are they not being jailed? Because they're in and out and they're doing the same thing. You know?
They are acquitted. You see, for example, that statement you've said is one of the most
I'd
dangerous
asked you if anything had been done on
and the guy is still around. Nothing has happened. Why don't NCIC, for example, employ people that will follow these politicians everywhere? Because when you say that someone to come and record statement, yet it is something that was said in a glare of cameras in broad daylight. You don't need someone to make a statement, to make arrest.
What happens? Or what happens next? What recommendations do you give to the board in front of you?
Now, when that statement is made, we do investigate and arrest, prepare a file, and take the file to DPP. Now, this is separation of responsibilities.
Yes.
Now, when the file goes to DPP, the responsibility has gone to a second institution.
You are now out of it.
We follow. We follow the case, and we attend the court. But because you have to also assemble our witnesses, we have to follow the case. But it is in the hands of DPP now. Then from DPP it goes to the courts.
The courts.
And again, the court is not NCIC. The court is another institution. So the separation of powers is what Kenyans don't know.
Yes. True.
So the Kenyans expect us to arrest Livondo today and put him in cell.
Yes.
And jail him for 20 years. We don't have that power. We are not the prosecutor. We are not the courts. So that is what Kenyans don't know. So that's why cases drag. Cases are acquitted.
And they are acquitted. We have seen even one of the worst statements, like one member of parliament, he said nasty things about maybe the first family, and he was acquitted.
So we follow these guys to their rallies. We record them. We investigate them. We summon them, and we take their case to court. And when you look at what is, I can give you of cases as many as prison summons ile juzi
kama ya Linturi ya madoadoa.
Honorable Mithika Linturi,
Yeah,
Honorable Aaron Cheriot, Jamatia Sagon. Umesikia hiyo mama wa Baringo? Ule alikuwa anataka baby bill.
Ule alisema tunafaa kununua hizi weapons.
Yes.
Tunangoja nini? You remember?
Abubakar Amana Alama, umekumbuka? There's Jane Anik Hara, Richard Onyoka.
Exactly.
Richard Onyoka
in fact also spoke very badly in Kisii.
Yeah, Kareki Mbiki and others. Gladys Wanga amekataa summon. Senator Cleophas Malala
what happens wakikataa summon?
We will arrest them because we have the powers of a high court judge. I mean magistrate powers to arrest. So anybody who defaults summons, we will arrest him straight.
And how long does it take it? Because let's say you have called me to come, let's say on day 21st, I come on Thursday. I don't come on Thursday.
No, you have to call and say you are not available today, but you will come on certain.
What if I don't call? I don't even respond to your call.
Now that is the time you are being arrested.
How long does it take for you guys to arrest this person?
Anytime. If ukipitisha tu, tunaweza kudeal na wewe.
But again, when we talk about this alarming statements and reckless statements that politicians make, does it mean it's only politicians that you focus on, or there are also other people that are supposed to be
religious leaders, for example, leaders
on the grounds, even us as journalists, as we maybe we represent our programs here? Is there something that if maybe I say, according to NCIC, this is a reckless statement, I'm supposed to be arrested, am I also going to be arrested, or just some other people?
Yes, it is. The law applies across to everyone. It's not only politicians. It has just unfortunately become that politicians are our first customers. Everyone. Now everyone again, on the audiovisual or on the mic, or written, or electronically transmitted,
or even in social media, written.
And the most chaotic thing that we are unable to deal with is the social media, where people even have pseudonyms. Somebody is calling himself Kenya hapa na Kenya pale, and you don't know who he is.
The land of Kenya.
Now it has become the new arena of hate speech.
The worst, in fact.
And this is not mostly done by politicians, it's done by Kenyans, common Kenyans, wananchi wa kawaida.
Foot soldiers.
Yes. In some thinking tribal, some supporting a certain politician or certain political lineup. I mean, it is so disgusting and so unfortunate that people who you think are of high caliber in society find themselves in social media insults. People like Mutahi Ngunyi, you know. So you wonder what kind of good example, good examples we are to our children and the generations to come. So the social media has become a headache. But in collaboration with the DCI and the Communication Authority of Kenya, we are closing on them. So even them now, they know that they can be gotten. So it is not only politicians, it's everyone. The people we have in our list of now cases, half are not politicians. When I talk about Mutahi Ngunyi, it's not a politician, it's a professional. So at the end of the day, it is everybody's mouth that we are watching. You know, there's a guy who escaped, I think, our arrest. I don't know how he escaped. When the Kenya Kwanza team were in Nakuru one day, the person who was called #1 to pray was a Muslim cleric. And in his prayer, he used the word Modoadoa.
Yeah. I remember. I remember.
Very unfortunate.
Sitaki kumtaja, I remember.
Yes. You know? So that's how much anybody can. So what is the difference between that sheikh and
Mythical and
and mythical Ntuli?
No difference.
There's no difference.
No difference.
Yeah. So it's everybody.
It's everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Abdulaziz, which is the worst case that NCIC has ever handled since its inception until today?
Oh, Mutahi Nguyen's case was one. The Bangani 6 were another group.
You remember the pronunciation?
Yeah, I remember.
You know, and so cases are similar, but the Bangani 6 was the breaking news.
The breaking news, I remember.
Yeah, Mutahi Nguyen, because of his position again, and cases like that. Governors were involved. Governor Kingi was involved. He's still on the list. Governor Ngilu is also in the list. And so it is also unfortunate that leaders who are supposed to bring peace to their counties, bring disharmony to their counties. At this juncture, I must thank some people who have done good work at their areas. Governor Madango of Wasingishu.
True.
I mean, Kenyans must applaud him.
Yes.
He has done so much with his leadership around. The leadership of Nakuru County also have done good work. Nakuru being that hotspot, that hotspot is now cool, calm. And it's not by choice. It is the resolve of the leadership that said enough is enough, and they took their county away from the red line. Governor Roba of Mandera also has been in the forefront of making sure that he invests heavily in solving the community conflict. He has eased our job in Mandera. Governor Joho has also done a lot in Mombasa. Of course, Mvuria in Kwale. Kwale is one of the best now. I mean, it's nice. You will not have a Kwale in the red lines anymore. So there are governors and leaders who have worked and made sure that the areas are safe. Loinkabo of West Pokot tried his best also. So NCIC now heavily also relies with collaboration with the stakeholders, the county leadership,
the
Kenya Police, what they call the Ngao, the provincial administration.
You also work with the Communication Authority?
Yeah, in terms of dealing with voices and those things. If you dispute that clip is not from you, we can now consult CA. Yeah.
Because there are people who say, your sauti si yangu.
That's just fabricated.
So my brother, Kenyans of all walks of life should mind what they say, what they do, what they write. You know, they should remember that they are burning their country. You know, somebody can recklessly put a line in social media, but he doesn't know how what harm that line can cause to this country. You know, if Kenya burns, we burn all of us.
All of us.
We all lose, including the guy who wrote that line. And if he thinks he has escaped himself, his family members will also be affected, whether their life, their property, their economy, their future, their education. There's no way you can escape. So we must jealously guard our peace as Kenyans. And that's why the reason we are here to talk to Kenyans, viewers of Al Huda TV, so that they can also propagate what we are telling them. At least each viewer can tell another person. So the message reaches home that it is not wise to destroy a country. Once a country is destroyed, to bring it back on its feet is difficult.
No.
Look at Somalia. Look at Ethiopia. They are not yet there.
Rwanda,
Burundi, even Uganda,
Congo,
South Sudan,
South Africa,
Central Republic, you know
Mali,
what?
Chad.
All these countries that have gone to some low places are still not yet up. Let's not take this country to those levels, because it's going to be very difficult to bring it up. Let's not lose what we have cultivated
all those years
since independence.
Just because of one person.
Just because of the interest of one person. Politicians come and go. Parties come and go. Kenya remains. If you want to ban this country because of William Ruto or Raila Odinga, woe unto you, because those ones are mortal. They will go. But Kenya has to remain. But the unfortunate thing is, those who take machetes and slash their brethren, what do they get?
Nothing.
Does the politician know that I killed Ali?
No.
Doesn't know. Does the politician know that in the process of harming my brother, I was harmed? I was maimed?
No.
I'm in hospital, I'm accumulating bills. The politician doesn't know.
Doesn't know.
So why are we fighting one another? Why? On behalf of the politician? In 2007, how many lives were lost?
So many.
How many were maimed?
So many.
How many are left homeless?
Does Raila Odinga and Kibaki know who they were?
Just recently, Pendo. You remember Baby Pendo?
Yeah, Baby
Yes.
Pendo now.
No one is even talking about her today.
You know the people who are bedridden up to now,
So many.
Till today.
till today from
The
2007.
guy was banned in Naivasha.
Politicians don't know. They don't know where he is. They don't know how many bills he has incurred. You're fighting on their behalf. Why? Why are you banning our country? Why are you bringing our country down? If politicians steal the votes up there, ni wao wameibana, shauri yao.
No.
Our constitutional right is to vote. And once we vote, we go home. How they steal from one another is not our business.
That's not your
There's nothing we can do anyway.
Yes. Nothing.
There's nothing we can do. Whether there's a server or something that is being manipulated, me and you can do nothing about it. So why are we fighting?
Fighting. In 2007, we were fighting, and then it remained like that. Nothing changed.
I mean, anybody who was hurt, alibeba mizigo yake mwenyewe.
Yeah.
Kabisa.
Sio mwanasiasa amebeba kitu, ni wewe mwenyewe umebeba. Your livelihood, your life,
Your family.
your family, your education, your children's future, everything you've lost. The child of the politician is where? US or one of the best schools in Kenya.
Enjoying life.
Brabant,
Brookhouse. Name some.
The lowest is Makini.
St. Mary's.
Yeah, that's where their children are. And do we see usually their children throwing stones in the forefront?
Never. Never. You can't.
So what we are telling Kenyans is, mind your business. Mind your business. I mean, it is not life and death for
if
elections.
the person you are supporting will not get that opportunity, there is another time.
Yes, there's tomorrow. You can win tomorrow. But anybody who is elected is a Kenyan. He will serve you.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I mean,
whether
today,
for him or not.
Yeah, today if Raila Odinga wins, he has no option but to serve me.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
I mean,
he cannot segregate because he's a national leader.
Yes. Or does he put more well on the table of a Jaluo? No.
Me, I always say in the word of Jackson Kiplagat Mandagor that siasa usiweke kwa roho. Because Raila never voted for Uhuru, but he is now.
Yes.
He said, I actually said the other day that whatever we are seeing on the TVs is nothing compared to what they see behind the scenes. So we should actually live in peace with each other.
I mean, when you see how politicians
laugh talk to another,
dine and wine together.
Utajichukia.
Kenya wangesema ni hawa tunapigana on their behalf ama ni wengine.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, we as journalists, we know because we cover them.
Yes.
But when we tell them, they don't believe.
Yes, Kenyans don't believe.
For them, they will hold hands, and when they reach the podium, they abuse one another.
Yes. But when they are out of the podium and they go to their coffee places, Raila will call Ruto. And they will chat. Yes.
They talk.
And when they meet in places, you saw them even at rallies or in
national events.
They're talking to each other in low tones. What are
and they laugh about it, you know.
Yeah, they laugh. So tunaambia wa Kenya, please, this is our country. We don't have another country.
Yeah.
By the way, hatuna spare country. Do it?
No.
If we lose this country, the other country we'll have is a country where you are a refugee. The name itself is ugly.
Yes.
And you know how refugees look like.
Yeah.
We have refugees in our country. Yes, refugee is a prison.
It's a prison.
Yes.
It's more than a prison, actually.
So let's not lose our nationality. Let's be proud. You know, Kiewe says the pride of Africa.
Yeah.
Let's be the pride of Africa. And we can only be there if we take care of our country.
Yeah.
And it is the responsibility of each and every one of us. It is not the responsibility of Uhuru Kenyatta or a politician or Raila Odinga or William Ruto. It is the responsibility of each individual in Kenya to make sure that you jealously guard this country. You know, in the developed world, for example, if you are walking on the streets and you use a tissue
to wipe your nose,
to wipe your nose, you don't throw. You carry it until you reach a dustbin, and then you put it. But in Kenya, we wipe and we throw, isn't it?
Yes.
So that is how irresponsible we are. Even with the peace of this country, we do the same. We are not responsible because that person in the developed world will ask himself, wait a minute, why should I do this? I mean, no.
So there is self-discipline.
Yes, there is self-discipline at the individual level, where you know, you heard of a train that derailed from its line, and then the Minister for Transport resigns. How is he involved?
I remember that.
I mean, how is he involved? No way. That's a technical thing.
Yeah, in Kenya, you lose.
In Kenya, we say over my dead body. So we are not taking responsibility individually and sometimes collectively, because we group ourselves in certain things, whether we call ourselves tribe fulani or region fulani or religion fulani, we group ourselves.
Mbona tusiseme inchi fulani, tujite wananchi.
Now what we should call ourselves is Kenyans.
No.
I'm a Kenyan. Full stop.
We ended there.
I'm a Kenyan, and the other person next to me is a Kenyan, my brother, my sister. Full stop, nothing else.
Okay. Shukran sana Mheshimiwa Abdulaziz. Farah kwenye Facebook unasema walaikum salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, watching from Bahrain. Anton anasema we need peace during this electioneering period. The youth must keep away from divisive politics and violence. Sydney, thank you so much for tuning in. Shukran sana.
I think we'll have to call you back because I had so many questions, especially concerning the clerics, the shuyukhs and the other religious leaders. How do you engage them to talk about these things in their khutbahs and other things, or do you have any special training for them? I think next time, inshallah, because of time, we'll have to end it here. Yes. But we'll have to talk about that also. Shukran sana, Mheshimiwa, for coming. It was an amazing interview, mashallah. Barakallahu fik, and keep doing the good work. And anytime we'll also be your foot soldiers outside here, because from today we're going to be ambassadors of peace. for NCIC and all the Kenyans as a whole to make sure that we have a peaceful electioneering process?
Thank you very much, and God bless Al Huda and other channels. We are usually called by the mainstream TV channels, but I purposely called here so that because we have viewers specific
or aligned here,
Al Huda, and so that's why I called and asked for this chance. And so we continue kuhamasisha ndugu zetu ambao wanatuangalia. We had several symposias. One of them was the religious leaders. We had it, and we've agreed that the member and the pulpit will be used to propagate peace for these remaining months. And so all the shuyukhs and the bishops will be disseminating that information, and the khutbahs will be having parts of peaceful coexistence, cohesion, integration, and the benefit of being united as a country.
Inshallah.
Na shukran sana mtazamaji, tumekuwa naye Mheshimiwa Abdulaziz Farah ambaye alihudumu katika bunge la 11 ikiwa ni mbunge wa Mandera Mashariki, na hivi sasa ni kamishna katika tume ya uwiano na utengamano wa NCIC. Vile nimekuwa na Nur Said hapa Bakayoko. Unasemaje mzee? Nimetulia. Sema atakuwa ni balozi wa amani. Unapomwona huko nje uje basi Nur Said ni balozi wa amani. Shukrani sana kwa mtazamaji kwa kuweza kuwa nasi kuanzia mwanzo hadi tamati. Tu radhi tu kuweza kupokea simu kulingana na wakati, lakini vile vile shukrani kwa wote ambao wameweza kufanikisha matangazo ya siku ya leo. Tunakuacha na asalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum salaam wa rahmatullah.